Welcome to tonight's Fireside Fridays with your host, Alona Minkowski.
This Friday, I want to take some time out to highlight a report that everybody should read. See, after a 6-month-long investigation, the Center for American Progress has released a 130-page report called Fear, Inc., the roots of the Islamophobia network in America. Now, they detail the flow of money that has allowed Islamophobia to enter the mainstream in this country over the last 10 years. And it's no small amount. In fact, more than $42 million has been poured in by 7 foundations onto the hands of a few so-called scholars or experts that have tarnished our discussion by spreading hate, by spreading fear, and most importantly, by spreading lies. See, it would be naive to say that 9/11 didn't permeate many American minds, that it didn't change our outlook on the world. But at the same time, Americans still do believe in human rights and civil rights. They wouldn't be convinced that some of us deserve different treatment and deserve to be spied on and locked up or tortured if somebody wasn't feeding them lies and fear about those individuals. Even lies about our own president, that he's a secret Muslim. It's important to read this report to realize that this sudden upsurge in hate towards Muslims or fear of Sharia, to realize that that's been manufactured, much like all the other issues that permeate our political discourse, and convince Americans that we're oh so divided. Now, you have to understand that today, grassroots movements, they barely exist anymore. These overwhelming emotions that bring Americans together, they're rarely natural occurrences. See, it takes money to organize, to bus in protesters. It takes money to conduct studies, produce literature, pay experts. And it also takes money to get the publicity that you want, be it billboards, posters, flyers, websites, or a great PR team that sends out your press release, contacts media organizations, tells them that they've got a story just for them and the perfect guest available to talk about it. See, all of that takes a lot of money, and it takes planning. And unfortunately, those willing and able to give the money and hire people to do the planning, well, often they have a message that they want spread. They have a political goal and their own self-interest in mind. And that's how the wheels get turning. So if you're wondering why the Ground Zero Mosque, as the media called it, even though it's a community center as well as a mosque and is located 2 blocks away from Ground Zero and actually has a name, Park 51, if you're wondering why that became the biggest story last summer, why Fox News wouldn't give it up and politicians cried about it, well, now you have the perfect answer. It was the money. If you're wondering why we're suddenly seeing a surge in states across the U.S. passing anti-Sharia legislation, even though there's no evidence of creeping Sharia law, and even though many of these lawmakers can't even define Sharia, some states even copy and pasted their paperwork on it from Wikipedia, well, there's a reason for that. Like I said, not because Sharia law is actually spreading. Nope. There's actually not a dime of proof for that. It's because 7 organizations have poured $42 million into making sure that states start thinking that it's a problem. And the mainstream media is just so complicit in this entire scheme. They take those press releases, they invite Frank Gaffney on, and they call him an expert. It's one thing to bring them on, call them out on their lies, convince Americans that these are crazies that should not be listened to. But to treat Frank Gaffney like an unbiased actor, the man that says that all of Islam is evil, that the president is a Muslim, and his outreach to the Muslim world is proof that he himself is radicalized, that the Muslim Brotherhood is trying to infiltrate the Republican Party. I mean, I could go on for an hour with his crazy statements. But this man is not only crazy and a bigot, he's one of the key people that's been getting this money put into his organizations over the years. And it's something that we've long spoken about on this show, and something that, thankfully, the Center for American Progress has been able to devote resources to connect the dots, to put it down on paper and investigate properly. So next time that somebody tells you they're afraid of Sharia law creeping into their country, tell them, just read this report.